How are you guys? This is Mr. Pili, and this is the Examination Key Tuition Center. Okay, I want to teach you chemistry. Now, before we start dealing with what is on the board, I want to define what chemistry is to you. Okay, now chemistry is simply the branch of science that it deals with the study of matter and its effect to the environment or to its environment. That is a definition for chemistry. Now, today I want us to look at what we call atom, element, and compound. Okay. Now, we are going to start with the element and atom, because these two, they can be addressed simultaneously. Okay, they can be addressed simultaneously. Okay, now we are saying that an element, it is a pure substance that cannot be splintered into simpler particles. Okay, so that is a definition for what we call an element. Now we need to give also the examples of elements. Okay, so there is a note there, and we are saying that all chemical substances on the periodic table are called element. In another way, you can pick any substance or any element on a periodic table, then you give it as an example for an element. I hope you have understood. Then we have the ones that I've just displayed here. We have hydrogen, it is an element. Then we have also sodium. Apart from sodium, we have copper, then we have calcium, then we have lithium. Okay, so these are 5 examples that I've listed, okay, of what we call an element. Okay, now, since I told you to say an element is connected to what? Is connected to an atom. So we need to look at what an atom is. What is an atom? Now we are saying that an atom, it is a smallest particle of an element that can take part in a chemical reaction. What does this mean? It simply means that when an element, for example, sodium, it is reacting with water, in the actual sense, okay, it is not, it is not the elements that they are reacting, but the atoms within the what? The elements of the compounds named, they are the ones which they are being what? They are being they are the ones that they are reacting. Okay. Now, apart from this, let us give examples of what we call atoms. Okay, what are examples of atoms? We have copper atoms, then we have oxygen atoms, we have zinc atoms, we have hydrogen atoms, and we have also the chlorine atoms. These are some of the examples of what we call an atom or atoms. Okay, now we need also to look inside an atom. We need to see what is inside an atom. Okay, so that we can have the clear understanding of what an atom is. Now there is something that I've written here. I am saying that an atom has 3 fundamental particles. 3 fundamental particles, namely, we have what we call electrons. We have what we call electrons. Then we have what we call protons as well as neutrons. So these are the 3 fundamental particles that you are going to find inside what we call an atom. Okay, now how are they placed inside an atom? Okay, I'll explain that later, but I want us first to define what these fundamental particles, these 3 fundamental particles are. Now we are going to start with an electron. Okay, we are going to to start with an electron. What is an electron? An electron, it is simply, the negative charged particle of an atom. The negative charged particle of an atom. And it is denoted by a symbol. There is a circle there and with a negative at the center. That it is a symbol for what we call an electron. Then apart from that, we need also to understand what a proton is. What is a proton? We are saying a proton, it is simply a positive charged particle of an atom. So we have two words here. There is a word positive and negative. Immediately use the word negative there, but maintaining these other words, you have the definition for what we call electron. Then if you use the word now positive, you have now the definition for what we call proton. Then apart from this, there is the last one, which is neutron. We need also to understand what a neutron is. Now, a neutron, it is a neo charged particle of an atom, or it is a non-charged particle of an atom. It is denoted by an empty circle. An empty circle, it can be in body form or not. Then when we are talking about what we call proton, it is positively charged, and we have a circle there with a positive sign at the center as its symbol. Now let me explain what an atom is in relation with an element, using a diagram that I've written there. Now we need to understand to say an element, it is not an atom, and an atom is not an element. But an element, it is a home, a house for an atom. In another way, it is in an element that we are expecting to find an atom. So in an element there are thousands of what we call atoms. Now if we try to pick one atom and enlarge it, this is how an atom will look like. It will look like the one that I've drawn there. An atom, it has a central part of it. A central part of it, it is called a nucleus, or what we call a nucleid. So those are the two ways that you can use, to name the central part of an atom. Then apart from that, we need to understand to say an atom, it has also what we call shells. It has what we call shells. Now these shells, they are the ones that they possess what we call electrons. They are the ones that they possess what we call electrons. These shells, sometimes they are also called energy levels. Why are they called energy levels? It is because shells, they carry energy, in their nature. They carry energy in their nature. And it is the same energy that will cause the electrons to circulate around the shells. Then apart from this, we are saying that at the center, at the center of an atom called a nucleid or a nucleus, we are expecting to find two things, only two particles of the particles that have been mentioned, the three of them. What are these three particles? Two particles that we are expecting to find at the center of an atom. Number one, we are expecting to find what we call a neutron. Then apart from that, we are expecting to find what we call a proton. Protons, we have said that these are positive charged particles of an atom. Then a neutron, we have said these are simply the non-charged particles of an atom. And these two, they are located at the center of your atom. I think this is what we have about an element, and an atom. See you next time.